Chapter 2. Identifying your overthinking triggers so you can shut them down. Quote, "There is hope, even when your brain tells you there isn't." John Green. Can you remember the last time you were overthinking? Can you remember exactly what you were thinking about? I'm not talking about all the thoughts that filled your mind. I'm talking about the original one, the thought that started it all. Perhaps it wasn't a specific thought. Maybe something happened that made you feel unsure of yourself. It may be something that happened on that day or perhaps even years ago. Or maybe it's anxiety over something that might happen in the future. You see, your overthinking can be triggered by basically anything. Someone might look at you in a way that causes you to overthink. You might smell something that makes you think back to a time you didn't feel comfortable. Or it can even be that you're overthinking so often that you can't remember a time when your thoughts weren't all over the place. Whatever the case is for you, ask yourself if there is any pattern to your overthinking. Perhaps there are certain situations, people, or events that trigger you. If you can't identify a pattern or trigger yet, don't stress. Trust me, you will get there. Next, think of your physical body while you're overthinking. How does your body react? Do you feel tension in your shoulders? Is your heart racing? Do you struggle or take a deep breath? Is your stomach in knots? Are you sweating more than usual? Are you feeling exhausted without doing anything to make you tired? You may wonder why I'm asking you all these questions. You may even start to feel a bit uncomfortable with some of them. That's exactly the point. Not to make you uncomfortable, but to make you more aware. You see, many signs can help you recognize your overthinking. The more you become aware of how you respond to your thoughts, the easier it will be to identify your triggers. Now, let's get into it. What is a trigger? You've probably heard the term before, but what does it mean when it comes to overthinking? A trigger is simply something that causes you to react. It's something that pulls you into a cycle of stress, worry, or doubt, often without even realizing it. Whether it's an uncomfortable conversation, the pressure to perform at work, trauma from the past, or even feeling unsure about the future, these triggers cause your mind to spiral. When you know what triggers your overthinking, you'll know when you need to do something to stop your mind from spiraling. It will help you realize what strategies you need to implement to manage those moments. Knowing your triggers will help you regain control. The big stress triggers. Every person has their own triggers for overthinking based on their experiences, past and present, emotions, and insecurities. They don't necessarily need to have negative causes. You may be triggered into overthinking by your aspirations and goals as well, especially when you have big hopes for your future. What triggers your overthinking might also not affect others. What causes you sleepless nights of continuous thinking and worrying might not faze someone else in the slightest, and vice versa. Luckily, there are many ways you can identify what causes your mind to race. One of these is to look at your stress levels. Remember when we discussed, in Chapter 1, how stress and overthinking are closely linked? Let's look at some of the biggest causes of stress. They may not all apply to your life, but reading through these may increase your awareness. I encourage you to keep a notepad or notes app on your phone close to jot down anything that stands out and may apply to you. This will be very helpful later when we do our 10-minute exercise on identifying your triggers to overthinking. Relationships and family responsibilities. Let's start with the stress you may experience in your relationships and family connections. As much as your loved ones should bring peace and joy to your life, this isn't always as simple. These connections can often be a silent weight on your shoulders. You may feel like your entire life is a juggling act. You're balancing work, your romantic partner, your family obligations, and your friends, while you still need to make time for yourself as well. Let's break down the most common sources of stress in your family responsibilities. Your romantic relationship. You may feel pressure to maintain a perfect relationship with your partner. Unfortunately, many relationships that look good to outsiders might be a completely different story in reality. There's just no such thing as a perfect relationship. Your role as a parent. If you have children, you'll likely know a whole different brand of stress. Your days are filled with managing their schedules, making sure they do enough extracurricular activities, and helping them with schoolwork. And it doesn't end there. You're also constantly worried about their well-being and future. Other family dynamics. You may still be lucky enough to have parents, but as they get older, you worry about their future, financially, emotionally, mentally, and health-wise. You may also butt heads with siblings or have to deal with the death of a loved one. And strained relationships. The stress of going through a breakup or divorce or even being estranged from family members can be overwhelming. Even losing friendships can cause your stress levels to rise. Financial concerns. Money can be a major cause of worry. You may look at your bank account and wonder where your money has disappeared to. Maybe you just don't know how to cut your monthly expenses, or perhaps looking at your retirement savings causes you anxiety. Some of the most common causes of financial stress include managing debt. You may constantly struggle to pay off your debt, whether it's credit cards, a car loan, or a mortgage. No matter how much you pay toward them, your outstanding balances don't seem to go down. It's frustrating. Daily budgets. Once your debt is paid, you may wonder where you'll find enough money to pay your daily bills and buy basic needs like groceries. This stress can eat away at you. Insufficient savings. You might worry that you won't be able to retire comfortably or have enough savings for your children's education. And insurance. Apart from the monthly costs we've already mentioned, you need to keep money aside for healthcare and ensure you have the right insurance coverage. Career challenges. You likely spend the majority of your life at work. Sure, if you do something you enjoy, you may not mind spending so much of your time at the office. Unfortunately, work can also be a significant cause of stress and anxiety. Let's look at some of the work stresses you might experience. Pressures at work. Whether you're managing tight deadlines, dealing with multiple projects, or working in a fast-paced environment, your stress can seem never-ending. You might be constantly under pressure to perform, which can cause burnout. Feeling unappreciated. Feeling like your hard work isn't noticed can be very demotivating. You may begin to question your worth and whether you're on the right career path. Lack of career progression. Maybe you feel like your career isn't moving forward as planned, especially if you've been in the same position for years. It's easy to get caught up in a mindset of, is this it? Losing your job. There may be many reasons why you fear losing your job. It can be due to company downsizing or your performance. Regardless of the reason, the thought of losing your source of income can be terrifying. And starting a new job. The excitement of new opportunities can often be filled with anxiety. When you start a new job, you may feel like you need to prove yourself, learn new systems, and build relationships all at once.